Have you ever been talking to somebody and you ask them what their favorite food is and they say, oh, I'm just a meat and potatoes kind of person? Usually that's just code for, good God, this person has absolutely no personality. However, I may have found quite possibly the greatest meat and potatoes recipe ever made. It's called moussaka, and today we're going to make it Macedonian style. My name's Ljupcho Donevski. This is the Better Balkan. Okay, so as promised, today we are making a moussaka. The problem is I don't know how to make a moussaka, but as luck would have it, I have a moussaka expert in the house right now. Here he is, my good friend Vladimir.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Dobro me najdovme.
Dobro mi dojde. So this is Vladimir, our moussaka expert. So we got two cooks today, which means we're gonna need 2 cups.
Definitely, we need 2 of them.
Definitely. So
this is a tradition in our culture in Macedonia.
Oh yeah, a little bit for you, a lot of bit for me.
Hvala, blagodaram.
Okay.
Na zdravje.
Na zdravje.
Cheers.
Okay, let's make a moussaka. What comes first?
Of course, onion. As every food has onion, so we're gonna have onion chopped in pieces, and then we're gonna start with that.
Okay, once the onions are chopped, we're just gonna put them in a bowl and put them off to the side.
It's easy as that.
Simple as that. Best thing about this is you go ahead and do that, I'll handle this. Now that the onions are done, we're gonna switch to our potatoes. Today we're using red potatoes. Now, do we need to peel the potatoes or can we leave the skin on?
Well, Nick, you can do it however you want. You can peel the potatoes or you don't. You just have to wash them if you don't peel them.
Okay, chef's choice. Are we peeling or not peeling?
Okay, this time we're just gonna wash them, so for faster. Plus, from a lot of cooks, they say that if it's young potato, it's actually good and it makes the food better. It tastes better. Okay. So we'll see.
Peel on. There's 2 ways to do this. You can either do it the old-fashioned way with our friend the knife, or we're gonna do it the super cool way with the mandolin slicer. We're gonna do both of them because, well, we like continuity. So you just take the potato and you slice it thin. And the key to these ones is making them as thin or as thick as you like. Me personally, I love my moussaka thin.
Okay, so if you're a beginner, I recommend to do it this way with the mandolin slicer. It's way easier, and just make sure you don't cut yourself, and pretty much it's simple as that.
Now I know I said we're gonna do both ways, and we showed you both ways, but here in the kitchen, we got the mandolin slicer for a reason. You're doing
It's easier.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. It's way easier like this, and he recommended this way, not me. He recommended.
It's absolutely way easier like this because I can just gonna hang out back here and
hang out and have a really delicious.
If you have an opportunity to get your very own Vladimir in your kitchen for your moussaka session, I strongly recommend it.
I don't think my wife would let anybody steal me from the kitchen.
And when you're done, all the sliced potatoes will look something like this. After you slice up your potatoes, make sure you wash them thoroughly and keep them submerged in water until you need them. Okay, so now that our potatoes are sliced up and our onions are chopped up, we're gonna move over to
the meat and the pan with the oil.
Okay, so for this meat, we're using 90%, we're using ground beef. It's 90% lean, 10% fat.
Which is okay if you put it even more fat.
Yeah, if you want to go a little bit more fatty, that works too, whichever your preference is.
In our country, especially, there is a lot of people, they mix the meat. They do do ground beef, and then they put a little bit of pork, which it's not necessary, you know.
Everything's better with pork. So,
yes, so they put it for the fat.
You can kind of change up this recipe to to whatever suits you.
Exactly. What we're gonna do right now, we're gonna preheat the pan, and then we're gonna use olive oil. Traditionally, in our country, in Macedonia, usually people use sunflower seed oil, but right now we're gonna use olive oil. Either way, you're not making any mistake. Okay, and then we put oil, about that much. Okay, so when it's get hot, we just add our onions. Start with our onions. We're gonna start seasoning. Vegeta or Vegeta. If you don't have this one, which we live in California, in Los Angeles, there's a lot of Middle Eastern people. They have it. You can find it in stores. You just put about a spoon inside. Paprika, just a little bit. It doesn't have to. It's more for a color. It's about this much. And then ground black pepper. Same. About that much. And we stir. And then
we're gonna add a third cup of uncooked rice.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. That's enough. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the meat. The meat. We start adding the meat. Pretty much like that. Well, now, okay, so you will see how much water it will take. It's by pretty much how you see it. You don't make it too wet, but you make it enough. Salt, okay. I'm gonna add just a little bit. But pretty much, even when I'm doing it, I'm gonna make sure it goes here, about that much, just for taste. Viewers will see this, and this, if you notice, it's a traditional way to make almost everything with the ground beef.
That's very true. This is very similar to our manja episode. A lot of the same way.
Pretty much, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more red pepper. I like it reddish.
And when your meat and rice is pretty much done, it'll look something like this. Alright, now that our filling is ready, we're gonna move on to
the pan.
First things first, we gotta prep the pan, which means we're gonna oil it. Today we're using olive oil.
Olive oil.
Again, in Macedonia, we would be using
sunflower
seed. Okay, now we take our potatoes that we sliced, and we're gonna start layering.
Okay, so first one, like I said, make it oily all over, and then pretty much easy. Just layer after layer.
Now, depending on how many layers you want to put for your base layer, really kind of comes down to how thick your potatoes are. We made these very, very thin, so we can put like one or two, or maybe even 3 layers on this, and it'll still be fine. If you're going to cut them by hand and make them on the thicker side, 1 layer is probably going to be fine.
Yeah, of course, it depends.
So now that we have, now that we have our first base layer, we're going to grab our filling.
We're going to grab our filling, and we're going to go just like this, pretty much. It's very simple. That smells really good, delicious.
It smells amazing.
You smell it, right? It's amazing. And then we layer it, pretty much. That's it, like this.
Okay, once we have our first layer and our layer of filling, we're going to add in another layer of our chopped potatoes.
Just to finish, you can do it as many layers as you want.
The more layers you can fit in, the better. This is basically like a Macedonian lasagna. Just keep it up until you have enough filling.
Exactly, Nick. Yeah. It's like a Macedonian lasagna.
Yeah.
But way better.
And again, we made our potatoes very, very thin, so we can kind of just keep layering them up like this, no problem. Again, if yours were on the thicker side, 1 layer of potatoes will be just fine. Guys, I wish you could smell this.
It smells delicious.
It smells amazing.
Like I said from earlier, the water, you can go all the way.
Just enough water to kind of coat the pan.
Yes, and then you go over it, so when we put it in the oven, it cooks right.
We're trying to suck out all those juices and those spices from the pan and put it right back into the moussaka.
Don't forget, when you layer the last layer, for aesthetics and for looks, you put the best ones.
Oh yeah, always keep your best potatoes for the top. Otherwise, as Baba would say, zastramota. Okay, so we've added all our layers and we have our top coat with our sexiest pieces of potatoes. And now, what do we do now?
Okay, so you have to add water. It's to have enough water to be soaked in. I love my paprika.
Yeah,
I love it. I don't know why. I have
paprika's in our blood.
Yes, yes. So it's in a lot of our small villages around our city. We're famous for the paprika.
A nice light coat.
Yes, it's for coloring. It's for coloring. Like I like that.
So I'm just gonna dust a little bit on top. Salt.
Yeah. So you can go for it. It's not gonna hurt us.
Basically, you want the water line about right below where your top layer is. You can see it's right about there. And that's a good safe spot for your water. Even if you do a bigger pan, you can just add more water, so it's just about right below where your top layer is gonna be at. So now that that's done, we're just gonna take some tin foil, gonna cover up the top.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna have some Macedonian rakia.
Now that it's covered, we're gonna put it in a preheated oven. The oven's been preheated to about 425 degrees Stepani. When we put it in the oven, we're gonna drop the temperature to about 375, 350.
Yes.
Around there for about 45 minutes or so until, you know, your rice is cooked and your potatoes are all nice and soft. Ours are very, very thin right now, so the potatoes shouldn't take that long.
Yes. So it's already pre-cooked, so about 45 minutes it will be.
We're waiting for that rice to pretty much cook up.
Yes.
So now that the moussaka is in the oven, we got about 45 minutes to kill. What should we do? So our master chef made about enough chips for about 3 families worth. So we got some to spare.
You mislead your cutting or something like that.
Speaking of cutting, I'm cutting your points. That's you threw too many chips. It's one at a time. Guys, we're just kidding. Don't waste food. If you got a lot of these chips lying around, just add a little seasoning to them, dip them in some, drop them in some oil, and make your own chips.
Yeah, and this is perfect for chips. That's what we're gonna do now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna eat some chips.
Okay, the moussaka has been in the oven now for about 45 minutes or so. We're gonna take it out. This smells so good right now.
It does.
Okay, we're not done just yet. It's out of the oven, we've uncovered it. So, final step is, I'm gonna let you do this, the maestro.
Just a pinch of olive oil.
But we're gonna drizzle just a little bit of olive oil. There you go, spread around just like that. It's gonna give the top a nice, beautiful crust. And we're gonna put this back in the oven. Or is this
Yeah, we can put it for another 2-3 minutes. Sets, and then we're ready.
Right. And after the 2 minutes, it'll look a little something like this. Well, this looks amazing. I'm gonna let the master chef here do the honors and cut the first piece.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, so I'm gonna do this triangle thing. It's gonna go like this.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, so we're gonna make it some fancy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay guys, now to this one, we're gonna add a little bit of cottage cheese. Now traditionally we would use plain yogurt for this. I didn't have any, all I had was cottage cheese. It works just as good.
It's okay, this is not necessary. We're gonna do it as a garnish. We're gonna garnish it like this.
Add a little
pretty
bit
much. Yes, pretty much.
And then green for
and that's it.
Nice and pretty.
That's it. That's all it takes. And bon appetit.
Guys, I wish you could smell how amazing this smells. I would like to thank my very special guest Vladimir.
Thank you.
For showing us how to make this amazing moussaka.
Go for it now, you can try it.
I've been waiting way too long to eat this, so I'm gonna dive into it. Amazing. Amazing. Well done. Thank you so much. This has been the Better Balkan.
Thank you, Nick, for inviting me.
Thanks for being here.
Wish you many years of a great cooking show.
I wish
this is amazing.
Me many years of great moussaka.
Yes.
Cheers. This is right, man.